You're listening to the Cool Audio Podcast, your escape into the world of stories, sounds, and imagination. Whether you're driving, chilling at home, or just need a moment to unplug, we've got a story just for you. So sit back, relax, and let the journey begin.
What's going on between you two? Are you pulling my leg?
Noah didn't understand it. Jack almost never kept things from his beloved wife. I'll tell you the details later. Just locate the source for me. Okay. Hanging up, Jack felt troubled. Ever since Justin disappeared, Chloe had become another person. Jack had never suspected Chloe loved Justin more than a friend should, but he knew Justin was important to her since he had done too many things for her in the past years for her to repay. Chloe didn't express her gratitude often, but always remembered the favors others did for her. If Justin died because of her, she'd be burdened with guilt for the rest of her life. Now Jack needed to find out who called Chloe. Meanwhile, Chloe took the two kids to Sky Blessing Court. Having not seen the twins for a long while, Sandra was happy when they came. She introduced them to James in excitement. James looked confused when he saw the kids. "Pudding, Little Bean, greet your grandpa." "He's not my grandpa. My grandpa is a great scientist." Little Bean revealed a secret without thinking. "Little Bean, what nonsense are you talking about?" Chloe hurried over and held Little Bean's shoulders. "What is the kid talking about? What scientist grandpa?" Sandra was confused. Chloe thought quickly and said with a smile, "Mom, Little Bean talked about a person in a movie. Last year, there was a Marvel movie called Doctor Strange. Little Bean likes that old man very much because he has special abilities and can do magic, so she keeps calling him Scientist Grandpa." "No." Before Little Bean could continue, Pudding covered her mouth and pulled her away. "Sis, come and eat chocolate." Pudding picked up a piece of chocolate from the fruit platter in the living room and stuffed it into Little Bean's mouth, stopping her words effectively. "James, you never met them before. I plan to take you to South Hill Manor to see our granddaughters after you get used to the life here. They are my precious babies. Pudding and Little Bean are twins. Our daughter Chloe gave birth to them 4 years ago. They are super cute." Sandra introduced her beloved granddaughters to James proudly. Chloe watched James's face and found he seemed to feel nothing about the kids, but he pretended a warmth he didn't feel. "Really? They are big girls now. Kids, you're very cute. You look like your mom." "We're prettier than our mommy." Little Bean didn't agree. "Shut up. Eat your chocolate." Pudding covered her sister's mouth immediately. "My Little Bean is sharp-tongued. She's very good." Sandra didn't mind the retort and laughed happily. James forced out a smile and looked a bit evasive. "Mom, come with me. I need to tell you some personal issues." "Did you fight with Jack?" "No, come here." Chloe pulled her mother upstairs, leaving James and the two kids in the living room. Crunching on chocolate happily, Little Bean turned on the TV and watched the Vipers in the program World of Animals with great interest. Pudding played on her cell phone. James sat on the sofa with bland eyes. Pudding glanced at him and said, "Grandpa, didn't you die in the car accident? How come you're alive again?" Pudding had seen James's picture in Sky Blessing Court and knew he had died, but now the guy looked very much alive. James was surprised that the little girl could ask such a difficult question. He stiffened. To be honest, he was very afraid to answer questions about James, even though he was pretending to be him. "The process is very complicated. You're a little kid and won't understand." James tried to avoid the topic, but Little Bean, who was watching TV, interrupted. "Don't treat my sister as a little kid. She's a genius in the stock market with more than $100 million in her account. It's more than all the money that an ordinary person can make in one lifetime. She's super smart. Of course, so am I." "Grandpa, my sister exaggerates. I'm just curious. But if you don't want to talk about it, it's okay." Pudding smiled, but her eyes were piercing. James felt nervous again. "In fact, the thing sounds very weird." James told the kid what he had told the others, but he simplified the story. Meanwhile, Chloe was talking to her mother in a room upstairs. "Why are you acting so mysteriously? You don't have to keep things from your Uncle James. He's our family." It was obvious that her mother trusted the so-called Uncle James, feeling delighted and excited to return to life before her husband died. When people get old, they were more gullible. "Mom, Let's not talk about Uncle James. I have something for you. Chloe took out a craft envelope and handed it to her mother. What's in there? Open it, Chloe said with a smile. Sandra opened the envelope and saw a bank card and a jade bracelet. You spent money for me again. I have money. Her mother looked piqued. After all, Chloe was very good to her and she wasn't a greedy mother. Mom, I used my own money, not my husband's. I just want to give you something. Take them. You'll have enough to live on if you have to live alone one day. Of course, Thomas and Stella are very good to you, but I, as your daughter, want to do my share. I chose this bracelet for you and plan to give it to you on your birthday. But I just can't wait. Please don't say I'm impatient. Oh, my dear child, this must have cost lots of money, right? Seeing the quality of the white jade, Sandra was sure it cost lots of money. Besides, she knew her daughter would never buy cheap things for her. It's not expensive. I saw it and thought it would look good on you. Chloe held her mother's shoulder and cooed. Mom, let me put it on for you. Chloe slipped the jade bracelet on her mother's wrist, feeling better somehow. Do you like it? I do, but it's so expensive. Don't buy such stuff again. Sandra began to nag again. Chloe smiled, but didn't speak. After her chit-chat with her mother, Chloe left Sky Blessing Court with the kids. On their way back, Chloe glanced at Pudding and asked, Pudding, do you like this, Grandpa? No. Why not? I feel he's weird, but I can't say how. I like the Grandpa in the States more, said Pudding. So do I. I miss Grandpa and I miss Auntie so much, Mommy. Mentioning their Grandpa and Auntie, the kids looked eager. I miss your Auntie and Grandpa too, Chloe sounded calm. Can we call them? Right now? Little Bean suggested with a grin. If it was in the past, Chloe wouldn't agree, but now her time was limited. Okay, we'll call them right now. Chloe let go of her caution about her father's work and Fiona. Picking up her cell phone in excitement, she called her father first. She heard 2 rings and then was cut off. She put down her phone in disappointment and thought her father was probably busy with work in his lab. Mom, what's wrong? Grandpa didn't answer it? Little Bean lifted her head and asked innocently, Your grandpa must be busy. The moment she said the words, her phone rang. Seeing the strange number, she answered in excitement. Hello? Chloe. Hearing Professor Wagner's old voice call her name, Chloe got emotional again. Dad, she said chokingly. Mommy, calm down. Thoughtfully, Pudding put her little hand on her mother's knee to comfort her. Chloe, you seldom call me. What's up? As a father, he always thought of his daughter no matter how far she was. No, nothing. Dad, I didn't talk to you for a long while and I just missed you. I hope I'm not disturbing your work. No, it's just a phone call. It's not a big deal. Professor Wagner didn't tell his daughter that constant calls would indeed expose his whereabouts. But for him, talking to his daughter was more important. Dad, how are you doing lately? Good, very good, Professor Wagner said. How about your health? I'm very healthy. Don't forget I'm a doctor. Professor Wagner's voice sounded amused. Dad, you must take care of yourself. The weather in the States is unpredictable. You must dress warmly. What's your favorite food from here? I'll mail them to you. The delivery services are very fast. No, I'll go back when I have time and I'll eat my favorite food then. Okay. Oh, by the way, do you have time to talk to the kids? They miss you so much. Chloe was so emotional that she almost forgot that the twins also wanted to talk to their grandpa. Yes, I do. Hearing the mention of his 2 granddaughters, Professor Wagner felt even warmer inside. Sis, you first. Surprisingly, Little Bean let her sister to talk first. Chloe realized that Little Bean was thoughtful too, and she always let her elder sister take the first turn on big issues. Shyly, Pudding took the phone and said sweetly, Grandpa. Pudding. Grandpa, how did you know I'm not Little Bean? Your voices are easy to recognize. I'm not befuddled with age yet. Professor Wagner laughed. Grandpa, I missed you so much. Please take care of yourself. I will. I'll listen to you. Pudding, you've made lots of money lately in the stock market. Grandpa, you've been following the developments of the stock market in the country? Pudding was excited. Yeah, pay attention to Wantech. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Wantech, I heard its chairman is on the run since he's involved in fraud. Does it mean He company will be restructured? Pudding murmured to herself. Professor chuckled but didn't speak. Checking the time, Chloe reminded her in a low voice, Pudding, let your sister talk. Reluctantly, Pudding handed the cell phone to Little Bean. Grandpa, I missed you so much. Little Bean's voice was resonant, probably because of her bigger size. Chloe laughed out loud. Whoa, you have a big voice. Little Bean, have you done experiments lately? No, Mom doesn't let me touch chemicals, saying they are either toxic or explosive, Little Bean complained with a pout. Your mom is too cautious. When your auntie was your age, she could make more than 10 kinds of simple bombs, Professor said with a chuckle. Really? Grandpa, tell me something about Auntie when she was little. Little Bean got excited when she heard the stories about her auntie's childhood, but Chloe got anxious and reminded her, Little Bean, the time is up. Say goodbye to Grandpa. Huh? So soon. But I'm not finished yet. She was a kid and didn't know about the adults' concern about safety and secrecy. As Chloe's eyes turned stern, Little Bean immediately said to the phone, Grandpa, goodbye. Please take care of yourself. She handed the phone back to her mom. Chloe took it to say goodbye. Dad, you and Fiona must take good care of yourselves. Child, are you okay? Did something happen? No, I just missed you. Okay, I can't take more of your time. Bye, Dad. Okay, bye. Hanging up, Chloe felt lost. She didn't dare to talk too much with her father, fearing her smart father would notice something. Mommy, Auntie is awesome. Grandpa said she could make simple bombs when she was my age. Little Bean was full of admiration. Your auntie was forced to do it due to her situation. We can't copy her. Chloe didn't think her sister was awesome. Instead, she felt hurt inside for Fiona. While other 3-year-old kids were cuddling with their parents, watching cartoons, playing with dolls, and wearing princess dresses, Fiona had to learn how to protect herself from the people hunting her down. Chloe wished Fiona hadn't had to live like this. Even though Fiona was now the queen of mercenaries and a legendary figure that even Interpol and FBI couldn't catch, Chloe still wished she could become an ordinary girl. Chloe didn't want her to be rich or badass. She only hoped her sister was safe and sound. Mommy, shall we call Auntie? No. Chloe was afraid Fiona, a master hacker, might notice something on the phone, or those people might find out she contacted Fiona and then deal with Justin. Zoe had been warning her not to tell anyone. Her confident tone made Chloe believe that they had a way to monitor her. She thought her father would be fine. After all, he was protected by a group of special agents. No matter how good Zoe was, she wouldn't be able to deal with her father, right? For one instant, Chloe felt unsettled by self-doubt. The 2 kids didn't notice anything strange about their mom. With the hint from her grandpa, Pudding immediately opened her stock account on her cell phone, studying the performance of Wantech's stock. Little Bean began to play a small game on her cell phone. At the headquarters of the GK Group, Jack was assigning work to the executives in the meeting room when his cell phone rang. Glancing at the number, he stood up. Sorry, let's take a break. He walked out of the room and answered the phone. Jack. Dad. It was very rare that Professor Wagner, Chloe's father, called Jack personally. Jack had guessed the call came from Professor Wagner when he saw the number was quite similar to Fiona's. Child, have you and Chloe encountered some difficulty? Professor Wagner asked directly. Dad, why do you ask? Chloe called me today. I felt it was weird since she never called me. I guess she has something on her mind, but she didn't tell me. Jack was silent for 5 seconds before saying slowly, Dad, we have indeed encountered a difficult problem. Someone hacked into Chloe's cell phone and talked to her secretly, but I couldn't decode it. The best hackers in the Municipal Public Security Bureau couldn't decode it either. Our enemy is a top-level hacker. Do you have the code? Send it to me, the professor said solemnly. Yes, I'll send it to you now. At the professor's order, Jack immediately sent the code to him. 3 minutes later, Professor Wagner decoded the signals that even the hackers in the Municipal Public Security Bureau couldn't decode. Then he sent the 2 decoded conversations to Jack. As he heard the conversations, Jack's face turned grim. They were indeed about Justin, but the woman who called was Zoe. Jack had almost forgotten this woman since he never paid attention to show business or female stars. He wasn't familiar with Zoe. He immediately sent Noah a message asking for all the files about Zoe. Then Professor Wagner called him again. "Dad," Jack greeted him respectfully. "Jack, did you hear the recorded conversations?" "Yes, I did." "Justin was kidnapped." "Yes, those people blackmailed Chloe. Obviously, Justin is only a bait. Their purpose is our Chloe." "Yes," Jack totally agreed. "Those people want Chloe not for money, or they'd have asked for money from Justin's family. Their purpose is probably me or Fiona." "Dad, we don't know it yet. It's just a conjecture." "No, I'm almost sure of their purpose. The hacker writing this code is very good. This gang is not a group of ordinary kidnappers." "Yes." "Now that we know the truth, can you stop Chloe? The trip will be full of dangers." "Dad, I can't stop her." Jack's voice was calm. "Can you bear to see her walk into danger? She'll be in labor soon." The professor sounded angry. "I don't want her to go, but Chloe and I are deeply indebted to the Cooper family, and Justin is very important to Chloe. If Justin died because I stopped her, she'd never forgive me." Jack knew Chloe too well to stop her. "I'll have Fiona rescue Justin. Through this code, I can locate those people. Besides, we can find someone to disguise as Chloe." "That's too risky. As you said, these people are very good. Since they can find a top-level hacker to stop me from tracking Chloe's phone conversation, I'm sure they can't be fooled so easily. You don't know it, but Mr. James, Chloe's stepfather, who had died in a car accident many years ago, has come back from the dead." "What?" The professor was stunned. He knew about James since the latter and Dr. Perry in Towtown were involved in swapping baby Chloe. Later on, the professor hadn't dealt with James, considering he had raised Chloe and was the husband of Chloe's adopted mother. Then James died in a car accident due to his own scheme. But now, he returned from the dead. As a scientist and a medical genius, the professor would never believe such a story. Coming back from death was BS. It was something that the current medical skills or those in dozens of years could never achieve. It was just impossible. "James came back from the dead," Jack repeated. "Did you do an investigation? Is someone pretending to be him through disguise or plastic surgery?" The professor was incredulous. "Dad, Chloe did a DNA test with his hair and Thomas's. Thomas is Chloe's younger brother. It turned out they are father and son." Thud. The phone slipped from the professor's hand. He was stunned. "Dad, are you okay?" Hearing the unusual silence over the phone, Jack was worried. "Did she come back? Impossible. How can it be? No, it can't be her. If she came back, she'd have come for me." Professor Wagner mumbled the words repeatedly as if he had gone mad. Jack didn't catch all the words on the phone, other than the word she. Who was she? About a dozen seconds later, the call ended, and the professor didn't call again. Jack didn't dial back, guessing it was inconvenient for the professor to talk on the phone. A while later, Noah sent files about Zoe to Jack's cell phone. They were about Zoe's history until a few years ago, including the information before she entered the show business, such as her high school and boyfriends. The file also included the names of the big shots, magnates, and directors she had met after she signed into Imperial Star. They showed how she got into prison after her failed scheme against Chloe, how her sister died in Justin's house to frame him, how Gabriel came back to revenge Zoe's sister and tried to frame Justin again. The last part was about how Zoe caught tuberculosis virus in the prison, and someone paid a big amount of money to bail her out to get medical help. It seemed the key lied in her life when she was outside of the country. Seeing the country was the United States, Jack immediately contacted Rick, asking him to investigate whom the woman had stayed with in the States, in a jungle in Yunnan province. After his head was injured, Justin had his wound treated simply by a doctor. Due to his good constitution, his wound recovered very soon. Zoe didn't come again, but food and water was delivered to him each day. As the effects of the drug went off gradually, he rested and formed a plan. Yes, he planned to escape. Silently, he hid a disposable chopstick he had used in his sleeve. At supper time, the guy delivering food opened the door and saw Justin laying on the ground. "Eat." Justin lay there motionlessly with his back to the guy. "Hey, get up and eat!" Justin didn't move. The guy walked over and kicked at Justin in anger. Before his foot reached its destination, Justin caught his ankle and twisted forcefully. The guy tried to yell, but Justin was faster and pierced his neck with the chopstick. The guy's eyes widened and he fell to the ground with a thud. Then Justin drew out the gun from the guy's belt and ran out. In the past days, he had observed his surroundings and knew there were only 4 guards at the door. He only needed to get rid of them to flee out of the bamboo forest and enter the depths of the forest. Then they'd have difficulty catching him. But the moment he ran out of the door, more than a dozen men armed with machine guns surrounded him. Justin froze. "Put down the pistol," one of them said. Resigned, Justin put the gun on the ground carefully. If he wasn't careful, he might be shot into a sieve. "Justin, your reputation precedes you." Mr. Y walked from behind the armed men. His hairstyle was very weird with his hair tied up on the top of his head. His unshaven face made him look like an artist, but he was dressed in a suit. "You are—" Justin looked confused since he hadn't met Mr. Y before. "In fact, I must thank you. Because of what you did, I had the chance to get Zoe." Justin knew this guy should be the maniac fan who had bailed her out of the prison and then got her out of the country. "Oh, you're the patron of that batch, Zoe." Justin laughed contemptuously. The moment he said it, the man standing nearest to him punched his belly viciously. Pained, Justin bent down slightly but didn't drop to his knees. He forced himself to suppress the pain. "You can say whatever you want, but you must pay for it," Mr. Y smiled. "You caught me just to get revenge on her. If you're a man, kill me now. I'm impatient to enter my next life." Justin's hot temper exploded as he tried to get these people to kill him. If he was dead, Chloe might not come. Otherwise, she'd die with him eventually. It was not what he wanted. In his heart, he could die and anyone could die, but Chloe couldn't die. This thought had taken root in his heart and couldn't be replaced. "I know you are not afraid to die. Justin, your weakness is obvious. You're just afraid that Chloe will die. If you dare to touch her, I won't let you get away with it. Do you know my background? My grandpa's military legion will pour out and turn all of you into dust. Do you think I'm afraid of you? I knew who you're when I caught you. The Cooper family, with generations of high officials in the army. Pooh. You guys only have some power in the country. Do you think you can have the same power outside the country? You're just a mob." Mr. Y sounded very arrogant and was contemptuous of Justin's family background. Suddenly, Justin felt the thing wasn't as simple as it looked. It went beyond Zoe's hatred for him and Chloe. He felt there was something he didn't know was going on. "Even if you're not afraid of my family, do you know who Chloe is?" Justin tested the water. Mr. Y smiled even more mysteriously. "Are you trying to get words out of me?" Justin didn't speak. He just stared at the strange-looking psycho. Mr. Y smiled and lit a Cuban cigar before continuing. "I can tell you that you're not our final target." Hearing his words, Justin knew his guess was right. "As to why I want to catch Chloe, of course I know her identity. I know it better than anyone, so you don't have to worry about it. In fact, you should be grateful to us since we'll let you see Chloe before you die. Isn't that your wish? It's time for you to pay for what you did to Zoe." Then Mr. Y lifted his hand and shot both of Justin's collarbones. Pained, Justin fell backward to the ground. "Drag him in and don't let him get out again, or I'll kill all of you," Mr. Y ordered. "Yes, sir." "Sir, shall we call the doctor to take out the bullets from him?" one of his subordinates asked. Mr. Y's face was dark. "No, they are not deadly wounds, and he won't die so soon. Let him suffer." Justin's escape plan failed, and he got shot in the collarbones. His whole body ached with even slight movements. No doctor came to do surgery on him and take out the bullets, which told him that those people's purpose was using him as a bait to catch Chloe. Then he would die. "Chloe, please don't come. I'd rather not see you before I die. I hope you will never come." Justin lay in the small wooden room in despair, waiting for his death. To Chloe's surprise, Zoe didn't call her, but sent her a video clip. In the video, Justin was shot in both collarbones, but she couldn't see the shooter. Zoe's voice came at the end of the video. "Chloe, Batch, you didn't keep your promise and even investigated us in the States? Ha! This is a lesson for you. Remember, you must come alone. If you play games with us again, just wait to get Justin's body." Seeing Justin fall to the ground, Chloe's heart contracted. She tried to calm down and analyze Zoe's words. She didn't investigate Zoe, not to mention investigating them in the States. Was it possible? Chloe remained silent and thoughtful for the whole evening. Seeing Justin being shot in the video made it impossible for her to remain calm. She wished she could go right now and rescue him. When someone's bottom line was reached, there was nothing to be afraid of. After all, everyone had only one life. If Justin died, nothing could get him back. The twins were tired due to the day's activities and went to bed early after a shower. Chloe sat in the bedroom and waited for Jack's return. He came back at almost 7 p.m. The moment he entered the bedroom, Chloe stood up. "Hun, are the children asleep?" "Yeah, they're tired." "Are you tired? If you are, go to bed now." Jack looked a bit different tonight. "Hun, I need to talk to you." "Okay." Jack took off his coat and loosened his tie. "What's up? You look serious." Jack walked over, held her face in his palms, and kissed her. "Hun, are you keeping something from me?" Chloe asked. "What do you mean?" Something flashed across his eyes. After a few seconds of silence, Chloe looked up at him in the eye. "Hun, you monitored my phone calls, right? You investigated them, right?" Other than Jack, Chloe couldn't think anyone could have connections to investigate in the States so swiftly. Hearing Chloe mention the issue, Jack sighed slightly. "You finally want to talk with me about it." "Hun, I didn't want to keep it from you." Chloe tried to explain since she didn't want her husband to misunderstand her. "I know it's not your fault. I heard the phone conversation. Zoe threatened you and you had no choice." "You decoded it so soon?" Chloe knew her conversation had been encrypted. Even though Jack's hacking skills were good, she was still stunned that he could decode it so fast. Jack looked at her eyes calmly. "I must thank Dad for it." "Dad?" Chloe was surprised. "Did you call your dad?" "Yeah," Chloe nodded. "He noticed something was not right and contacted me. I was having trouble decoding the phone record and he helped me." "I see. Dad is very good." Chloe understood suddenly. "You can't keep it a secret anymore. Chloe, I know how important Justin is to you. I don't want him dead either. After all, we're deeply indebted to the Cooper family and I'm not an ungrateful man. But please don't shoulder it alone. Let's work together and get Justin back, okay?" Jack didn't blame Chloe for keeping it from him. He just soothed her gently since he knew how hard the whole thing was to her. Hearing his words, Chloe burst into tears. Terrified, Jack moved over and held her tightly in his arms. "Honey, it's not that I don't want to tell you. I didn't intentionally keep it a secret from you. I'm just scared. I'm scared that Justin would die. I'm scared that those crazy people will kill Justin. Then everything would be too late. We won't even have an opportunity to regret," Chloe said while sobbing. It was rare Chloe would lose her calm. At the sight of such a Chloe, Jack felt his heart ache, and he kept comforting her. He took out tissue from his bedside and gently wiped away her tears. Even though Jack had known Chloe for over 10 years, he rarely saw her lose control. "That won't happen. Justin is going to be fine. But they'll find out we're investigating them, so they'll punish Justin." Chloe now cried even harder. She took out her phone and opened that video. She no longer dared to watch. Justin was wounded by a gun. His body leaned forward and his face pale. It looked sad. Jack took over the phone and watched the video. His brows locked. He finally understood why Chloe was unwilling to actively tell him this. It looked like the situation wasn't that simple. It couldn't be solved by secretly investigating. Rick was an extremely careful guy, but Mr. Y found out they were investigating him. What did this mean? It meant that the enemy was powerful and had an enormous amount of information. The enemy knew about their every move. "Chloe, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have." Jack felt guilty. He shouldn't have been so brash and kept on investigating. If he didn't do so, then Justin wouldn't have been tortured. Although Justin was not shot in a critical spot, he would still not be able to hold on much longer if they continued to torture him like that. "It's not your fault. Those people are too malicious." Chloe wanted to kill Zoe right now, but she was powerless. "Don't cry. You'll scare the child," Jack reminded her. Only then did Chloe feel big fetal movements. The fetal was already 8 months old. If Chloe had big emotional fluctuations, the fetal would react too. Now, Chloe stopped crying. She picked up a tissue and wiped her tears dry. She apologized while rubbing her belly. "Hey, are you scared because of Mommy?" "Sorry, I didn't mean to," she comforted as she looked down at her belly. After a while, the baby calmed down and no longer moved drastically. Jack looked at Chloe's swollen feet. Without saying a word, he carried her to the bed. Then he went to the bathroom to get hot water so she could have a foot bath. Whenever Chloe saw how selfless Jack was being and how considerate he was to her, she would be moved. "Honey." "Yeah? Do my feet look like pig feet?" Chloe teased. "No." Then he added, "Pig feet aren't so fat." Chloe had stopped crying and started laughing. Jack's dry sense of humor, though rare and degrading, was always heartwarming. "Honey, when the baby is born, will you still wash my feet?" "No." So you are doing this for your son." Chloe pretended to get mad. "After you give birth, I'll want to give you a whole shower." Chloe's face grew bright red when he talked dirty to her. Then Jack complained, "This kid is making me wait for almost 10 months. I can't hold it in any longer. After he's born, you must compensate me. You will always shower with me so I can lather you in body wash." Just thinking about that scene made his nose almost bleed. Chloe mumbled shyly, "Who needs you to wash my body? It's not like I don't have hands." "Your hands won't be free. You'd be busy doing something else." Chloe's face turned even redder when she heard that. "Honey, you're such a pervert." Chloe touched her burning face. "What are you thinking about? Shouldn't your hands be rubbing my back?" "Oh, you meant rubbing your back," Chloe said in amazement. "What else were you thinking of?" Jack smiled evilly. "Fine, you're teasing me again. You think my brain's gone bad because I'm pregnant now? Honey, you're getting carried away. Do you think I'm not afraid to get angry and use a dragon slayer sword on you?" Chloe remembered something she saw on Snap, so she started to use it. "No need for a dragon slayer sword. You won't have the heart to hurt me." The couple had a sweet conversation as Jack washed Chloe's feet. Chloe leaned on Jack's shoulder. The two remained silent for a long time. "Honey." "Yeah? Do you understand what Zoe meant?" "Yeah. She wants you to go save Justin or else they'll kill him." "Then you—" Chloe was scared that Jack wouldn't let her go, especially because she had to go alone, and she was pregnant. It was extremely dangerous. "I'll think of a way to guarantee that you will be safe." "They're really intelligent people. Changing looks isn't going to work. I must go by myself," Chloe said. "Yes, their target shouldn't be as simple as getting Justin. Justin might be a bait, and the people behind this might be actually after you. It might have something to do with your father, or maybe Fiona. Of course, that's just my guess." "If that's the case, then Justin's in an even more dangerous situation." Chloe's eyes dimmed. "Chloe." "Yeah?" "I won't stop you from saving Justin." Chloe was slightly touched when she heard that. "But you have to promise to listen to my arrangements. You can't run off on your own. I'll design an appropriate plan that will guarantee both you and Justin's safety." "Okay, I promise I'll come back alive." It was hard for Jack to say something like that, and thus Chloe was touched by his words. At such a critical time, he wasn't afraid of death or Chloe's death. Rather, he let her do what she wanted rather than stopping her. It might because he understood her too well and knew she had to go this time. "Honey, should we go find Fiona? But they seem to be really strong. Their hackers are amazing since Dad was only able to break their codes recently. They seem to be hacking into my phone and even yours. What if they find out we're asking Fiona and Dad for help? Would it be more dangerous?" "Let me think into it a bit more." There was too much involved and too much information to process. If they made the wrong decision, Justin could lose his life. Jack was scared to come to conclusions too quickly. He just wanted to make sure Chloe was under his supervision before she went on this journey. In the borders of Yunnan, a black SUV was crossing a forest. The woman in a golden mask looked at the man beside her and said, "You're the good one." "Heh, I told you not to let Andrew out. He'll make you unhappy." "You two occupy the same body, so having sex with you means sleeping with him too. Same feeling, no?" The woman laughed in a slutty way. Hunter smiled in a malicious manner. The car drove 30 miles per hour. Finally, it stopped in front of the bamboo building. Mr. Y and Zoe were waiting. Hunter held onto the golden mask lady's hand as they got out of the car. Everyone was kneeling on the floor, with their right hand on their chest. "Welcome, Your Majesty." Mr. Y and Zoe were now kneeling like pitiful dogs. The lady with the golden mask was expressionless even towards a crowd kneeling before her. She simply glanced at Mr. Y and asked, "Where is he?" "Inside," he responded. "I heard that you guys were torturing him," the lady with the golden mask said as she looked down at her skull-shaped ring and played with it. Her tone was indicative of some attitude, and this scared Mr. Y. He was so frightened that he couldn't respond. Even Zoe trembled with fear. "Your Majesty, it's just that Justin is my enemy, so Zoe tried explaining. The lady in the mask gave her a sharp glare. "Was I asking you?" she said. The whole room fell silent. Hunter smirked as he enjoyed the show. He learned from his time with this woman that she was a capricious person. Someone could be killed at any moment with her. People have known that kings and bears often worry their keepers ever since ancient times, and being with her was exactly like that. No, she might have been worse than the ancient kings, as ancient kings would not kill people out of nowhere. She, on the other hand, would. Hunter had thought that his body's main personality, Andrew, was already a psycho. He, of course, was even more of a psycho. However, seeing the masked lady, he knew that someone surpassed him by far on this psycho scale. Even the Legend and Nalo brothers seemed like normal people when compared to this masked lady. The masked lady was operating frequently in the country recently, resulting in a pause for Legend. Legend and Nalo seemed to fear someone. Saving Andrew was supposed to be an important mission, but they had paused on that project. Andrew and Hunter were able to realize two things. First, the masked woman was mysterious. No one knew where she was from, but everyone feared her. Second, she was very young. Under normal circumstances, she should not be so powerful. Even Fiona couldn't get in, so you could tell that there was someone even more powerful supporting her. Yet that ultimate boss had not shown his or her face, so Hunter and Andrew hadn't seen that person. "Sorry, Your Majesty. I'm really, really sorry." It was the first time Zoe saw the masked lady. For the past few years, she had been Mr. Y's partner and slave. They had been through ups and downs and ventured around. She had heard Mr. Y bring up Her Majesty multiple times. This masked lady made even the mighty Mr. Y kneel before her. Zoe was frightened of infuriating her. She had once accidentally slandered a young Russian model who Mr. Y slept with, and Mr. Y beat her up so badly that her nose bridge broke. From then, she learned to speak more wisely. Zoe did not live very comfortably in the past couple of years. Even though she was abroad, she was beaten up like a dog and lived with no dignity. When she saw Justin, she was triggered and exploded. She yearned to torture Justin to death to express her anger. However, Justin had never done anything to directly harm her. She had ultimately faced her fate because of her own actions. Zoe and Brenny were the same type of people. They would never admit their own fault. All they could think about was to blame other people for causing their pain and suffering. Chloe and Victoria had once discussed these women who were having a hard life. These women would constantly complain about the world, would be malicious with their words, and would see everything in a negative tone. Zoe was such a woman. The masked lady ignored Zoe's plead for mercy. Instead, she looked at Hunter and calmly said, "Bring the thing I prepared. I want to use it on Justin for fun." Hunter obediently nodded. He turned around and walked towards the SUV, opened the trunk, and took out a black plastic bag. He walked towards the two. Only when the masked lady walked inside did the people outside dare to stand back up. "He looks like Andrew," Zoe whispered. She had seen Andrew multiple times in the country. She was curious why Andrew would be with the woman. However, as soon as she said it, Mr. Y slapped Zoe in the face so hard that blood came out of the corner of her mouth. "You better watch your words and keep your mouth shut. Don't blabber in front of Her Majesty or I'll kill you." Zoe covered her face and didn't dare to utter another peep. Mr. Y had always been physically abusive to her, and after he started doing cocaine, it had gotten even worse. Zoe was terrified of Mr. Y. When she saw how terrified he was of that woman, Zoe was even more scared to speak out. After all, she knew very clearly what things they were capable of. This masked woman did things that were much more brutal than Mr. Y. The masked woman came in a low-profile setting, bringing only Hunter with her. From this, you could tell how confident she was that no one was going to rebel against her. The masked woman changed and came out. She was now wearing a casual long sweater and jeans, wearing a pair of white sneakers with her hair up in a simple ponytail. She walked towards Hunter and slowly took off her mask. Hunter's eyes grew more focused. There was an overwhelming feeling that he could not articulate growing within him. "Do I look like her?" the woman said. Internally, Hunter was driven nuts, but he tried to suppress that feeling and said, "Very much." "Hey, be a darling and wait for me outside while I go inside to see him." "Okay." The masked lady then entered the little wooden cabin where Justin was locked in. Hunter guarded the entrance and became observant of all the activity around. After Justin got shot, his wounds were not treated, and the wound was now inflamed with pus gushing out. He even had a high fever. He had barely eaten or drank the water that they had given him. It seemed like he wanted to give up and die. If he was dead, then Chloe wouldn't have to risk her life to come save him. Justin shut his eyes and curled up in a corner of the wooden cabin, his face looking pale. He no longer looked like the rich and dainty Mr. Cooper. Right now, he looked like an ordinary person that was about to die. Justin. Justin slowly opened his eyes after hearing the familiar sound. His eyes brightened when he saw the woman in front of him. "Am I about to die, so I'm seeing my flashbacks? It's great to see you, though." Justin sounded weak. He had ignored the ripping his ribs caused by the bullet. Though in excruciating pain, he lifted his hand to touch the beautiful face of the woman in front of him. "Chloe, I don't think I can go on much longer. I might not be able to protect you anymore." "Justin, don't die. Look at me. I'm here to rescue you." "Thank you for coming into my dream. It's great to see you one last time, even if it is a dream." Justin was experiencing such a high fever that he thought he was dreaming. Then the woman put a bowl of water by his lips and said, "Drink some water first." After gulping down some water, Justin's consciousness slowly returned. He rubbed his eyes and looked more attentively. The person before him was indeed Chloe. "Chloe?" Justin cried in shock. He finally realized that this was not his dream, but reality. The woman smiled. Justin looked more surprised and said, "Chloe, where's your child?" Chloe was a pregnant woman that was about to give birth. The woman in front of him, however, had a flat tummy and looked like Chloe in her teenage years. This woman wasn't just a look-alike, like Irene's poor imitation, but she was identical to Chloe. "I lost him. Justin, listen to me. If I were to tell you that I want to be with you and I'll divorce Jack, would you still want me?" the woman said with the most earnest expression ever. Her eyes were so sincere that you couldn't accuse her of pretentiousness. Justin still had his guard up and thought it could be Zoe pretending to be Chloe, so he reached out to touch her face. The texture he felt was indeed human skin and not a fake mask. There were no signs of plastic surgery either. Justin had been in the entertainment industry business for many years, so he was sensitive to women that did plastic surgery. Even if it was just injecting a needle to make the face look slimmer, making the nose higher by injecting hyaluronic acid, or expanding the forehead a little, he was able to immediately recognize the trace of plastic surgery. The woman before him was indeed Chloe. They had the same look in the eye and the same voice. Everything was identical. "Justin, answer me first." Justin hesitated. Wasn't this what he had always wanted? Why couldn't he give a response when he was actually faced with the question? "Am I not in your heart anymore? Do you no longer love me? Are you looking down on me because I'm divorced and have 2 children?" Chloe's eyes grew red at that moment, as if she was about to cry. Justin's heart ached when he saw her like this. "Chloe, don't cry. I've always loved you, but I can't destroy your family. I can't treat Jack like this. I can't betray Pudding and Little Bean." Justin knew that there was no way in his life he would be able to be with Chloe and not think about the consequences. All that was too heavy for him. He could not build his happiness upon other people's pain. If he did, What would happen to Jack? What would happen to the twins that lost their mother? What would Chloe do to face the criticisms against her? Even though Justin had a high fever, he still didn't allow himself to do such malicious things or say such pernicious words. Justin, what if I pretend to have died? Then we could go into the mountains, never come back, and live a hermit life. Everyone would think we're dead, and we could live happily ever after, right? Chloe, why would you want to do that? Justin looked at her and asked. Because I owe you too much. I can't return it to you this life, and I don't know if there is a next life. Before Justin could respond, the woman before him added, Even if there were a next life, I'm scared you'd forget about me. A tear suddenly slithered off her face, causing Justin's heart to ache. He was about to raise his hand to wipe off her tears, but before he could touch her, he suddenly lost his senses. The woman had secretly put on a pair of electric gloves and used it on him. When he woke up, would he think that everything was a dream? The woman got up with a big smile on her face. She back-put on the golden mask and stepped out of the small wooden cabin. Hunter turned around and asked, How was it? Did he fall for it? Of course. Even Andrew fell for it, right? Why wouldn't he? The woman smiled proudly. She expected it to work with Justin and Andrew. Incredible. Boss, you can even trick someone who has been with Chloe for so many years, Hunter fawned. What I look forward to seeing is if I can go undetected with the man she was with thick and thin for many years. Jack? Hunter guessed as one of his eyelids jumped. When Chloe got another call from Zoe, she calmly agreed to Zoe's requests. Since it was a sensitive situation, only Chloe and Jack knew about the call. This situation was something so serious and dangerous that it surpassed the level of asking friends for help. Chloe promised Jack to wear multiple GPS devices. Chloe put the things she thought she would need into a black backpack. Zoe ordered Chloe to go to the cliff at the back mountain of the South Hill Manor at 10 p.m. She would have someone pick Chloe up there by helicopter. Chloe put on a comfortable long black quilted jacket. Her stomach was still very obvious from pregnancy, and her movements were restrained, so Jack got her a pair of non-slip shoes. He put a scarf, gloves, and a hat on her so she wouldn't be cold. Honey. Yeah? I'll come back alive, Chloe promised again. I'll bring back Justin in one piece. Chloe swung her hands on Jack's neck and tightly embraced him, as if she did not want to let go. Honey, if I can't come back... You'll come back for sure. Let's not talk about other scenarios. Jack knew what Chloe was going to say, so he stopped her from saying such unlucky and sentimental things. He just couldn't bear it. He could never imagine what he would do if Chloe died. To him, Chloe would never ever die. Okay, let's not talk about that. They had finished packing and left their bedroom. I want to see Pudding and Little Bean. Jack didn't respond, but he didn't look all right. He walked in front of Chloe and pushed open the door to the twins' bedroom. Chloe gently walked inside. The twins were exhausted and had fallen fast asleep. Chloe wanted to kiss them, but she was scared that she'd wake them up. She watched them quietly sleep for a while. Then in the end, she took out her phone and secretly took a picture of them before she left unwillingly. At the front of their house, Chloe said to Jack, Honey, I'll go alone from now. Chloe, you must be careful. Dad and I will find you through the GPS no matter where you are. Remember not to agitate your enemy. They probably have something they want. Just promise them to give them what they want first. You're pregnant now, so you need to be careful, Jack patiently urged. I know, honey. You should go back. Chloe opened the door and walked out. Suddenly she stopped and turned back to kiss Jack on the lips. Before Jack could react, she had separated herself from him and left. When Chloe closed the door, Jack cried. He had been suppressing his tears for a long time now because he didn't want Chloe to see him cry. If she did, she would be even more worried. She needed to save Justin. No one could change Chloe's mindset. Jack couldn't stop her. No one could stop her. He hoped to coordinate with his father-in-law and Fiona so they could capture them all at once. Then, they could get Chloe and Justin home safe and sound. Jack stood by the door as he watched Chloe disappear into the distance. He suddenly thought Chloe was extremely beautiful at that moment. His wife would always be the most beautiful woman in the world. "Jack, why are you standing there?" Jack's mother heard noise downstairs, so she got up to see. Nothing. "Your father asked me to ask you if you booked the wedding venue yet. Some of our friends are coming. Can you get us a few tables?" Mrs. Dawson requested. The word wedding ached Jack's heart even more. "Okay, Mom," Jack said. Then he looked down and went upstairs. Half an hour after Chloe left, Jack received a call from Rick, who was in America. "Jack, listen to me first. It's a very serious situation now. I found something. Mr. Y is just a nobody. The person he's working for is extremely dangerous. You and Chloe shouldn't do anything reckless. Fiona is coming. I suggest you talk to Fiona about this." Too late. Chloe left, Jack said in a desolate tone. He had expected this. He knew things weren't that simple. He knew if anything went wrong, Chloe would never come back. Jack was not able to sleep the whole night after Chloe left. There was no way he could fall asleep because he was worried of the dangers his wife would need to face. Although they had done everything they could to prepare, there was still much they could not control. After the professor decoded the devices, Jack had not heard back from him. However, he did say something. Did that mean she was back? Jack didn't really understand what was happening. However, he knew that if the professor was scared of that person, then that person was probably someone terrifying. Just like that, the sun rose. Pudding and Little Bean got out of bed. Little Bean walked over to Jack's bedroom barefooted. She pushed open his bedroom door and said, "Daddy, I want to wear that dress Auntie Avery bought me, but Grandma can't find it. Can you ask Mommy where it is?" Little Bean didn't know that her mother had left the house, so she came over to their bedroom with her sleepy eyes. Jack immediately got off the bed without wearing slippers. He picked her up and said, "Mommy's not home. Daddy will help you look for it." "Huh? It's so early. Where did Mommy go?" She has something to do at work," Jack said perfunctorily. "So early. She's so hardworking. Daddy, can you help me find it? It's the dress with my favorite KT cat with red and white strips." Little Bean continued to urge in her father's arms. Jack didn't say anything and immediately went to Little Bean's bedroom to find the dress. When they went in, Pudding had put on a simple snow-white sweater and thick leggings. "Sis, you're not going to wear a KT cat with me?" "No, it's too childish," Pudding said. With her phone in her hand, she went downstairs for breakfast. Although they were twins, Pudding had outgrown the cartoon characters that Little Bean still loved. Naturally, they would have their disagreements. Jack spent a lot of effort trying to find the dress Little Bean requested. He was finally able to find that dress in the bottom of the drawer. Then, he helped Little Bean put it on. "Thank you, Comrade Dawson. You are a qualified father. I love you." Little Bean's wish was fulfilled. She kissed Jack on the cheek and ran down the stairs for breakfast. "Mom, you don't need to send the kids to school today. Also not for the next few days either. Let them stay at home and play," Jack ordered before he left. "What? Why?" Jack's mother asked with confusion. "It's nothing. It's almost winter and it's flu season. There's a lot of viruses at school and I'm scared they'd get sick," Jack said, making up an excuse that people would believe. "Daddy's the best." Little Bean did not like going to school, so she gave her father a big thumbs-up sign. "Daddy, it's boring at home. Can I come to work with you?" Pudding was interested in business, so she had always wanted to go to work with her father. "It's busy at work lately. I'll take you later. You guys stay at home for now." Quietly, Jack picked up his business suitcase and left. "Daddy seems weird today. Did he get into a fight with Mommy?" Pudding saw the awkwardness in her father. "Not possible. Mommy's on a business trip, so how can they argue?" "Business trip?" Pudding asked with a slight frown. "Yeah, Daddy said Mommy left midnight to deal with something urgent," Little Bean said, as if it were nothing. Pudding, however, frowned. She analyzed. "Mommy's going to give birth soon. How urgent does it have to be to make a pregnant woman deal with it?" "Oh, sis, you make a lot of sense," Little Bean said, finally realizing that something was happening. "Grandma, do you know about Mommy's business trip?" Pudding raised her head and asked her grandmother as she was not in the mood for breakfast. Thanks for tuning in to the Cool Audio Podcast. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a fellow story lover. Until next time, stay cool and keep listening.